The date was June 6, 1944. The world held its breath. Across the English Channel, a vast armada prepared to strike. This was no ordinary military operation. This was D-Day, the largest amphibious invasion in history. Thousands of ships carried the hopes of a free world. Their objective, the beaches of Normandy, France. Their enemy, the formidable German war machine. The fate of Europe, perhaps the world, hung in the balance. The soldiers, many barely men, knew the stakes. They carried with them the weight of a world yearning for liberation. This was the culmination of years of planning and preparation. It was a moment that would forever be etched in the annals of history. For years, Europe had suffocated under the iron fist of Nazi Germany. Adolf Hitler's reign of terror had plunged the continent into darkness. From the frozen steppes of Russia to the sun-drenched shores of the Mediterranean, the Nazi war machine had left a trail of destruction and despair. Millions had been brutally murdered in the Holocaust, a genocide of unimaginable proportions. The free world watched in horror, knowing that something had to be done. The Allied nations, led by the United States, Great Britain, and the Soviet Union, had joined forces to combat this evil. D-Day, codenamed Operation Overlord, was the result of this global alliance, a desperate gamble to liberate Europe and crush the Nazi regime. The planning for Operation Overlord was a monumental undertaking. It involved the coordination of millions of troops, thousands of ships, and a vast array of military equipment. The operation was shrouded in secrecy. Every detail, from the construction of artificial harbors to the development of new technologies, was meticulously crafted. The Allied forces, under the supreme command of General Dwight D. Eisenhower, faced a daunting challenge: breaching Hitler's Atlantic Wall. This string of fortifications stretched along the French coastline, designed to repel any invasion attempt. To overcome this, the Allies devised an elaborate deception plan, codenamed Operation Fortitude. This involved feeding the Germans false information, making them believe that the invasion would occur at Calais, the narrowest point between England and France. The night before D-Day was one of immense tension and anticipation. The fate of the free world hung in the balance. As darkness fell over England, thousands of paratroopers boarded their C-47 transport planes. Each man knew the gravity of the mission ahead. They were the tip of the spear, tasked with securing key bridges and roads inland, ahead of the main landings. Their success was vital for the invasion's overall strategy. Their mission was fraught with danger. The uncertainty weighed heavily on their minds. They jumped into the unknown, behind enemy lines. The darkness and enemy defenses made their task even more perilous. Many landed miles off course. The disorientation added to the chaos of the night. Some were immediately met with fierce resistance. The enemy was well prepared and relentless, yet they fought with courage and determination, paving the way for the invasion force that would soon follow. Their resolve was unbreakable. Their bravery and sacrifice would prove crucial to the success of D-Day. They became legends of the longest night. Section 5. Storming the Atlantic Wall. As dawn broke on June 6, 1944, the full fury of the Allied invasion force was unleashed. Thousands of ships, from mighty battleships to humble landing craft, approached the Normandy coast. The sky roared with the thunder of naval guns. The beaches, codenamed Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword, were soon transformed into scenes of unimaginable chaos and carnage. The Germans, though caught off guard, fought back with ferocity. Machine gun fire ripped through the ranks of the advancing troops. Mortars rained down from the cliffs. Nowhere was the fighting more intense than on Omaha Beach. There, American soldiers of the 1st and 29th Infantry Divisions faced a murderous hail of fire. Section 6. Turning the tide. Despite heavy casualties, the Allied forces persevered. At Omaha, small groups of soldiers, led by courageous officers, eventually fought their way off the beach. They scaled the treacherous cliffs inch by bloody inch and silenced the German gun emplacements. On other beaches, the landings, while still fiercely contested, progressed with greater success. Canadian and British troops overcame stiff resistance on Juno and Gold beaches. The Americans secured Utah Beach with relative ease. By nightfall, despite the setbacks and heavy losses, the Allies had established a foothold on the continent. The liberation of Europe had begun. Section 7. The Heavy Price of Freedom. D-Day was a triumph of Allied planning, courage, and determination, yet it came at a terrible cost. Over 4,400 Allied soldiers lost their lives on that fateful day. Thousands more were wounded or missing. The beaches were transformed into gruesome landscapes of death and destruction. The human cost of the invasion was staggering. Behind every casualty was a family shattered, a life cut short. The sacrifices made on those beaches serve as a stark reminder of the horrors of war and the enduring human spirit. These men, many of them still boys, gave their lives so that others might live free. Section 8. A Legacy Forged in Courage. D-Day was a turning point in World War II. It marked the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. The liberation of France, and eventually all of Europe, had begun. The courage and sacrifice of the Allied troops on D-Day helped to turn the tide of the war in favor of the Allies. It demonstrated the strength and resolve of the free world in the face of tyranny. The invasion also had profound geopolitical consequences. It led to the eventual collapse of the Third Reich and the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers. Section 9. A World Transformed. The world after D-Day was a different place. The war in Europe would drag on for another 11 months, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. The defeat of Nazi Germany paved the way for the creation of the United Nations, an organization dedicated to preventing future wars and promoting international cooperation. The lessons learned from the war, particularly the horrors of the Holocaust, led to the development of international laws and norms regarding human rights and genocide. The Marshall Plan helped rebuild war-torn Europe, fostering economic recovery and political stability. The seeds of today's European Union were sown, promoting unity and cooperation across the continent. Section 10. D-Day, an enduring symbol of hope. Today, D-Day stands as a testament to the human spirit's ability to overcome even the most daunting challenges. It is a reminder that freedom is not free, and that it must be defended against those who would seek to destroy it. The beaches of Normandy are now hallowed ground, a place of pilgrimage for veterans and their families, as well as for those who wish to pay their respects to the fallen. The events of that momentous day continue to inspire generations. D-Day serves as an eternal reminder that ordinary men and women are capable of extraordinary acts of courage and sacrifice in the face of evil. It is a legacy that will forever be etched in the annals of history, a symbol of hope for a world striving for peace and freedom. As we remember the sacrifices made, we are reminded of the enduring power of hope and the unyielding quest for a better future.